Good morning, dear students. Welcome to this session on language and linguistics. Today, we shall discuss the topic word formation processes in English. Let me ask you something. How are words formed in a language? How many words are there in a language? Can we count them? There are infinite number of words in a language, right? And language is not a closed system. It is open-ended. It is a dynamic phenomenon. It keeps on changing. It has let its gate open. New words enter into language every day. So language is a dynamic entity. It's an open-ended system which allows meaning changes, new acquisitions, subtle variations in the meaning and so on. So today we will learn around 11 methods of word formation. We'll begin with the basic one, that is derivation. In physics you might have done derivations. So you derive something from a given data, right? So in language, derivation is a word formation process. To a base word, you will add an affix and then you derive a new word. What do you mean by an affix? A-F-F-I-X. Affix is the general term or a common term that is used to denote prefixes and suffixes. Prefix is something that is attached at the front part of a word, and suffix is something that you add at the end of a word. So when you add such a prefix or a suffix to a given word, you are deriving a new word out of it. Take for example the word happy. If you add u and un before it, you get the word unhappy. So you are adding the prefix un before, just right in front of the word happy, and you get a new word unhappy. Let us take another example. The word determine. We are adding a suffix to the word determine. Then you get determination. Determination. We have added the suffix tion and then you got a new word. You are deriving a new word, determination. Another thing that we need to notice here is the change that happens to the class of a word when you do this derivation process. For example, take the word modern. Modern. Modern dress. So, in this expression, the word modern is an adjective. Modern dress. Modern is an adjective here. Okay? And we are adding the suffix ize, eyes, to this word modern. We are adding the suffix eyes to the base word modern. Then you are deriving a new word there. Modernize. Modernize. So what happened to the class of the word? Modern becomes modernize. You are deriving the new word modernize by adding the suffix "-ize" to the base word modern. So modern was an adjective and now it has become a verb, modernize. So such changes may happen to the class of a word when you do a derivation process. Take for example glory. Glory is a noun, and when you add the suffix ify to it, you derive a new word, glorify. So the noun glory, when it undergoes derivation, it becomes a new word, glorify, and it is a verb. Noun becomes a verb. Adjective becomes a verb. So such changes in the class of the word might happen when it undergoes a derivation process. So this is the first word formation method that we are learning today. So in your textbook, in page number 79, it's explained very well with more examples. You can go through that. And we are moving on to the second method of word formation, that is compounding. So in chemistry, you have learned atom, element, molecule, compound, substance, all these terms you have learned. So a compound is a combination of two or more things, right? A compound. So it's easy to understand. Compounding is a method of word formation in which two words combine together. Take for example, lipstick. Here we find two free morphemes. Two complete words are joining together or they are combined together to get a new word. Lip, a noun, stick, another noun. So noun plus noun, you got a new expression, a compounded word, lipstick. Then take another example, fast food. Fast is an adjective. Food is a noun. So adjective plus noun, you got a compounded expression, fast food. Again, you take the word breakfast. Break is a verb and again it combines with fast and it becomes breakfast. So such variant combinations are possible when you exercise the method of compounding. Noun plus noun, adjective plus noun, verb plus noun, all such combinations can be employed in the method of compounding to get new words. Then we are moving on to the third method of word formation, that is clipping. It's an easy method. Clipping. When you clip something, take the word examination and exam, advertisement and ad, laboratory, lab. So all these are examples of clipped expressions. Examination is a lengthy word and its clipped version is exam. Laboratory is again a lengthy word and its clipped version is lab. And again, advertisement, it gets clipped to a new expression, ad. So this is what you mean by clipping. A lengthy word is cut short into a smaller expression and you've got a clipped word. So this clipping may be of two different types, back clipping and fore clipping. Sometimes the end part or the back part, the terminal part of a word may be clipped. Take for example examination. So when it becomes exam, the terminal part or the back part of the word is clipped. It is removed and the front part is retained. Beginning of the word is retained. So this is an example of back clipping. In your textbook, you will find the explanation in page number 80. Then advertisement. Here also, ad is retained. The beginning part of the word is retained, whereas the end part of the word is cut. It is clipped. So this is what you mean by back clipping. And the second type is fore clipping. For example, take the word telephone. We normally use the word phone for easiness. Phone. We do not fully say telephone, right? So the front part of the word got clipped and what is retained is the second half of the word. So this is what you mean by fore clipping. This is an example of fore clipping. And then you have varsity for university. Okay, the front part of the word, it underwent a clipping process and varsity, that is retained. Then there is yet another type of clipping, that is middle clipping. Take for example the word influenza. Instead of saying the word fully influenza, doctors often say flu, FLU, flu. So what is retained is only the middle part of the word influenza. So this is what you mean by middle clipping. So clipping is a lengthy word gets cut short into a smaller expression. So there are different types of clipping, like back clipping, as in the case of exam from examination, fore clipping, as in the case of phone from telephone, and middle clipping, as in the case of flu from influenza. I hope it's clear to you. By now we have discussed three methods, beginning with derivation, Then the second one, compounding. The third method, clipping. And now we are moving on to another method of word formation, that is acronyms and alphabetisms. Acronyms and alphabetisms. Acronyms is familiar for us, right? We will join the first letters of certain phrases and then read it together as a word, like NATO, NASA, NABARD, UNESCO, UNICEF, and so on. So the explanations are given in page number 80 and 81. For example, the United Nations Children's Emergency Fund. It is UNICEF, shortly known as UNICEF. So if we say UNICEF as a word, by joining the first letters of all the words in that phrase, UNICEF. Instead of saying UNICEF, we read it together as a word and we get a word, UNICEF, UNESCO. Then NASA, we say it as a word rather than pronouncing all those letters separately. We say it together as a word. So this is called acronym. And then we have alphabetisms. There are certain other expressions when you do not read it together as a word. Instead, you just spell each of the letters in that expression. For example, BBC, NCC, NSS. So in all these expressions, you just spell all those letters separately and you do not make it a word. And BBC is accepted as a word. It has got a status similar to that of a word. Okay, so this is yet another way of word formation. Alphabetism. BBC, NCC, NSS, etc. They are counted as words in English language. Because of frequent use, we consider them as words, and this method is called alphabetism. And now we will move on to the next method. It is easy. It's blending. See, when you make cake and all, you blend the ingredients together, right? And then you get a new product, the batter. Similarly, in language, you can blend together or mix together words. And then you get a new expression carrying the meaning of both the parent words. Okay, so when you blend together butter and sugar, you will get a cream which has the taste of sugar and butter, right? Which has the taste of sugar and butter. Similarly, when you blend two parent words, you get a new word which carries behind it the meaning of both the parent words. Okay, so take the word brunch. Brunch is formed as a result of blending process. It is when breakfast gets blended with lunch. See, certain people have the habit of eating at say 10:30 or 11 o'clock. They'll skip the breakfast and before having the lunch, they take a meal in between the morning session and the noon session. So this is what you mean by a brunch. So a part of the word breakfast and a part of the word lunch, part of two parent words got combined together and they got a new expression called brunch. And then smoke and fog, you got a new expression, smog. Okay, and then electric and execute, you got a new expression, electrocute. So these are some of the common methods of word formation. I would like to brush up derivation, compounding, then clipping, acronyms, alphabetisms, and then blending. We'll continue with other word formation processes in the next session. Thank you.